We would now like to move on to our next session, which is the 2020 sessions. These sessions would include a host of acclaimed professionals who deliver these 2020 sessions, also known as Pecha Kucha. These are rapid sessions presented in 20 slides for 20 seconds each. Our speakers today will cover different essence which they are passionate about, and they will capture your interest surely. For the first session, we have architect Shilpa Balvally and Samir Balvally of Studio OSMOSIS, and their topic for the 2020 session is Forward, Rewind, Pause, Musings of Two Traveling Minds. I welcome on stage architect Shilpa and Samir, please.
Hi guys. Everyone's been patiently waiting all day. We're almost at the end of the day. I know it's been like a really long day, but we've had some amazing sessions and it was a really exciting day. So thanks iDac, Triple ID, all the organizers. We're really happy to be here from Bombay. And so this was supposed to be a 20 by 20 session is what we were told, which is basically 20 slides for 20 seconds each, and we were asked to stay strict on the time, and you can see why we are at 8:30 today. So anyway, so what we decided is that we're not going to be really talking about our work or what we do or maybe design and architecture in general, but this is really going to be just a random mix of collections of our thoughts, musings, several unanswered questions that we keep feeling when we are traveling. We've been traveling for 2.5 decades together, and while we are partners at work and life. So I think here we go.
So here we go. Forward, rewind, pause. Musings of two traveling minds.
So why should one seek out the dull or boring? I'm Shilpa.
I'm Samir, and she's not boring.
And he's not dull. We've been architecture students together, and we run a design studio and are parents of a delightful 11-year-old.
Our son's curiosities inspires us to think deeply and carefully about the future.
So let's rewind, forward, and pause.
In today's world of constant consumption, where technology makes everything available at the touch of a finger, how do you keep the mystery alive? How do you avoid the sterility of being overplanned and seek the chance to be delightfully surprised and enjoy the now?
Well, one clue lies in the past. There is a dichotomy of understanding what to reject and what to keep, what to unlearn, and which lessons to really derive. And we have learned that we are drawn to exhilaration, excitement, and awe.
The grand gestures, even the failures, the humanity that can even overcome tyranny, the idea to attempt the unattainable, and the knowledge that we are all but a speck in front of this wonderful nature.
So let's rewind a bit. Did they say the world was flat?
Until science was understood and we evolved, what remains are stories of the past for us to decipher on our own ways.
Humanity has always strived to find relevance in their own present by building monuments, socio-cultural spaces. Take Fatehpur Sikri.
As one walks around these beautiful poised spaces and imagine hearing applause when Tansen sang the famous Rag Megh Malhar, we imagine a place where architecture can bring people together, looking beyond caste, religion, and creed.
So rewind. We all truly believe that behind any success lies a really strong foundation.
As architects, we are taught to build ground up And yet one can only marvel in awe at the single monolithic rock-cut Kailasha temple with its meticulous hand carvings. Did you know that this marvel was just built under 2 decades?
It's almost like they had a miracle CNC software back then, or maybe the right contractor, or highly creative labor. Or maybe it was really a grand collective vision of building something larger than life. Don't you think so?
Rewind. If you haven't visited Hampi, you're missing out on the emotion of passion, grandeur, and inspiration.
One can literally visualize the lives of about 500,000 people who lived in Hampi in its glory days. It used to be the second largest city in the world then, after Beijing, and almost thrice the size of Paris. So, can you imagine how much more is yet left to be discovered of that city?
Ever wonder how they meticulously engineered those columns which, when struck, can make music? If architecture could make music then, can it now? Thinking about the future also means musing over the past and the journey.
The old city of Mandu helped us physically understand the beautiful connections of water, music, love, and architecture. Just pause to imagine how water was harvested to fill more than 1,000 tanks that were indigenously channeled to various structures then and controlling the harsh summer temperatures. Water has been the bane and rise of a lot of civilizations, rise and fall actually. Perhaps we can take some inspiration and even adopt some of these techniques in modern day planning and design to solve the water woes of our country and a lot of other countries.
And who wouldn't want that amazing spa tub? Allow me, my Rani, to fill your tub with water sparkling fresh from the source of that water tanker. And let's pause here. If anything has a deeper meaning, it's a line, especially for the Germans.
The contrast of old and new Berlin was particularly biting. Past the trendy skyscrapers, the clean sidewalks, and even highly tagged trees, you see some of the old scars left behind by the city's dark past.
This wall represents pain, frustration, and tyranny. Imagine being someone living in East Berlin, walking home from work, knowing that on the other side of this very wall was unattainable liberty, prosperity, friends, and family. Something so close, but so very far away.
We all know what power architecture can have. The Jewish Museum in Berlin transforms you by invoking a feeling of memory, history, even horror, sadness, and anger. Architecture can actually create discomfort, and why not? Because it's contextual.
But what do you feel when you visit the newly opened memorial at Jallianwala Bagh? Will it make you remember, or will it even make you shed a tear?
The need to find answers and to search for ourselves led us to the land of opportunities.
And of course, how can we miss visiting Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Waters? There she stood with arms spread wide open, draped in white. Ah, does architecture have to be perfect to be marveled at? Can flaws be glorified and even embraced?
We all know this. Hey Siri, design me a building, bend it like Beckham. If he could, so can we. Let's forward just a little bit.
Technology has become more than a tool to draw. It visualizes, constructs, and currently it's designing for us as long as you have the power to give the right commands. Here at Gary's popular Ray and Stata Center at Boston, MIT, it's hard to comprehend the spaces made for classroom purpose. Does it inspire creativity or hamper well-being?
We don't know, I guess.
Mies van der Rohe said, less is more.
Say no more. Architecture of the modern era reflected on keeping everything straight-lined and simple. Materials blurred the difference between the tangible and the intangible. It's amazing to see how the structure disappears amongst its surroundings.
And in these times, we've shown ourselves the importance of the surrounding, the importance of nature.
Let's pause here a bit. And while the world is running at a mad pace, there is a need to slow down.
We now need to constantly remind ourselves to be childlike and run among trees, The Millennium Park in Chicago downtown. Who knew that what was presumed to be unsafe after hours can be transformed into a sensory engaging space with some of the best artists and music concerts in the world?
Could we possibly imagine this for our cities? A living, breathing central space that brings all our people together? From rare public, large scale parks, we move to elite building complex parks. Our lungs seem to be gasping for fresh air, looking for open and decongested areas. Is it only meant for the privileged few? Or is it a basic human right to breathe air and nature, irrespective of the city or the town or the people?
Every time we see hoardings of new projects, the words amenities, open, green spaces, and sustainability are simply glorified. It seems we are dividing everything like the size of pizza, and everyone needs a share of the topping.
So, where are we heading to? Let's look at the now and forward. Population explosion and the need for the connect with nature we now need to decongest the ground and move upwards, right? Open spaces have become a premium.
You hear that, Mr. Anderson? That's the sound of inevitability. It's inevitable, and we have to work together to better use our multi-use, high-tech, self-sustainable, zero energy, and what all we need for a better tomorrow. But are we doing it right?
Let's forward a bit more. In a few decades, or maybe even, I don't know how many years, but would Earth still be covered with only 70%, 71% of water? Will we venture into the deepest chasms of the Earth and build an ecosystem? I remember from our last trip, as we descended lower, the water was blue, and life was colorful, gracious, quiet, and calm.
Are we also planning to find a way to relocate the entire sea ecology before they deplete from the most of our human activities?
Or are we reaching upwards, where the air is rare but clean? What is luxury and the interpretation of luxury? Maybe it's eventually owning a piece of the sky and having a nameplate that's saying highest address in the world?
Until then, just let me dive and look at the earth in all its glory, grandness, and beauty until in a world which is not so far away from now.
Continue.
We have 1 minute more. History has shown us that it's in the nature of humans to travel, look for places, for better opportunities, colonize, and be a social animal.
We also know that wherever humans put their foot on a soil unknown and pure, what's left behind is sometimes ravaged and sometimes depleted of its natural resources too. So in the wake of upward progress, what is left behind is sometimes irreparable.
Does it matter if this ingenuity is horizontal or vertical? Our Earth, Moon, or on Mars? What does matter is that the energy to exhilarate, excite, and leave us feeling awestruck. And when you have seen all this, you in fact have the appetite to see more, to show the world all the human ingenuity to your child.
And when the feeling of awe sinks in, to concentrate our mindfulness, to appreciate all that it involves to be modern, and then back to reality. How we like it are the simple pleasures in life, sheer joy and happiness. Living the today, learning from the past, and taking small conscious steps towards a planet we leave behind for the future generations.
Our actions today shall echo tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.